Hi, just as a bit of an introduction, my name is Josh, and I'm a lawyer at Waitmans, and I specialize in tax and estate planning. And the purpose of this seminar is to take you through the process of establishing a trust. And what I thought would be most use would be a start to finish guide as to all of the things that you should think about, all of the steps that you take as you establish a trust. Now, why have we called it establishing a bespoke trust? And I think this is quite key, is because when we want to establish a trust, we want to make sure that it matches the aims and wishes of our clients. It should do what we want it to do. And obviously, there are other options for establishing a trust. And I think the classic example of this would be just using pro forma trust deeds. So, for example, if clients have life insurance products, quite often the insurer, Aviva, Scottish Widows, whoever it is, will have a set of standard trust deeds that can be used. And whilst in some cases these are good, so for some clients, cost of establishing a trust is prohibitive, or some clients just want everything kept under one house. In many cases, they don't do what the clients think they do or want them to do. And it's probably best demonstrated with an example. So I recently acted for a client who passed away, and he was a widower. And during his life and his wife's life, they established a trust to hold a joint life second death policy. So this policy will pay out on the death of the survivor of him and his wife. And they reached out to their insurer to get the trustee to write this policy into the trust so that the proceeds of the policy don't form part of their estate. And in preparing the deeds, they got the proforma sent out to them, and there was a question of who is going to be the beneficiaries, just write it in. And so what they did without any advice was to write in the beneficiary of this trust is the wife, absolutely. And so actually the whole trust unraveled because they didn't quite appreciate the fact that if she is the absolute beneficiary, there is no discretion. She owns the policy. It then formed part of her estate. And it only got picked up about 2 months ago after the husband's death that actually this asset formed part of her estate. Her will gifted everything onto his estate. And so actually it's subject to inheritance tax on his death. So their goal of tax saving has actually just unraveled. And then on top of that, you've got all of the faff of having to do with historic trust deeds and trying to revise it. And so the bespoke nature of a trust is really important, just because we want to make sure that what the client wants to happen happens. And also we have the power to do what we want to do with it and what we need to do with it to achieve those aims.